the goal with the EU is they want to make it just like the United States. They want it to be a large, centrally controlled block of different economic regions, right? And so the more they can induct other countries into it, Ukraine, of course, they want Ukraine in the EU. The problem is their economy is too bad. So they're going to go with NATO first. Russia's like, no way, I'm not letting you do this. You're basically taking over. You know what the funny thing about Russia is? There's a funny viral video from a long time ago where this woman is like, she's explaining that Russians are Asian. And they're like, no, they're not. It's like, yes, they are. Russia is north of China. And like, you can't. And then there's another video where like Indian women are explaining that they're Asians because India is in Asia. And then people are like, no, you can't say that. But I remember I was talking to a friend and I mentioned that Russia was in Asia. In fact, most of Russia is in Asia. And then you have like the eastern portion. What is it? To west of that mountain range.
The Ural Mountains?
The Ural Mountains, so it is?
I think so.
Yeah. And, you know, west of it is Europe and then east of it. But most of Russia is in Asia. And then I had to explain to them, I'm like, Russia is like 50 miles from Japan and it's north of China.
Yeah.
People don't know how big this place is. They don't know what its interests are. All they know is, you know, I don't know, communists from the Soviet era or something.
I don't even think that they have a concept of that. I think that it's a far more simplistic view of Russia. You know, the narrative is that Russia is, is among the basket of deplorables, essentially. You know, obviously Russia is an authoritarian run state, but it's the way that they've aligned Donald Trump, Russia, and essentially anyone that has a dissenting opinion in the United States is smeared with the Russian puppet narrative.
Isn't Zelensky getting rid of a bunch of people, though, too?
Hasn't
he purged some of his leaders, defense ministers or finance ministers? Or, I mean, he's doing his fair share, I think, of crushing political dissent in his own country.
Yeah, he shut down media. He shut down a television
churches
network.
And I believe churches associated with Russia.
Yeah, Russian
Orthodox. Right. Yeah. So, yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously that's stuff that the media in the U.S. doesn't want to talk about because it's illiberal behavior and they want to paint Zelensky as a democratic government that we can rely on as a stable partner. And they ignore the fact that Ukraine was one of the most corrupt countries in Europe. Eastern Europe is terribly corrupt. They didn't handle the transition from Soviet states to liberal democracies the way that the United States did. It was significantly more corrupt and run for the oligarchs, really, that whoever could grab power at the end of the Soviet Union. So the situation in the Ukraine is not, it's not the U.S.'s business.